Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 Minutes to a Better Building, a podcast from Boland. I'm your host, Tyler Kern. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the show. Today, we're talking a little bit more about Boland's professional development classes, and we're joined today by Dell Johnson, service engineer at Boland, to give us a little bit more detail on what these classes are for, who can attend, how they are beneficial, and so much more. So, Dell, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thrilled to have you on the show today, Dell. So first of all, give us the purpose behind it. What's the why behind Boland's professional development classes?
Pretty much the why. The why is Boland takes pride in the ability to be able to educate other service shops, as well as building owners, engineers, salespersons, really who's ever in the industry who needs to have a basic to advanced knowledge of the equipment they have that they're going to be working on or that they currently have in their building. Mm-hmm. All those people would be great candidates to take this training course. So Boland likes to basically, offer this to all their clients.
Absolutely. So how often and how frequently do these classes take place?
Usually we have a fall and we have a spring training schedule. Okay, I know that this particular year we're starting in October, I think the first week of October. Mm-hmm. So it will be our fall classes. And then, of course, in 2023, we'll have our spring classes.
So if you missed the fall classes, look ahead to the spring and vice versa. There we go.
Absolutely. Yep.
There we go. So tell me a little bit, you said that all clients are eligible to take part in these classes. Tell me a little bit more about the value of having educated clients on some of these topics. What sorts of things does that provide?
Sure. To steal a quote from Joe Madison, he says that education is the new currency for the 21st century, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, we love to have educated clients, okay? For example, because an educated client who knows the equipment, knows their building, is really going to know when it's time to make changes, okay? For instance, if you have a unit, rooftop units, unitary equipment has a lifespan usually from about 15 to 18 years, okay? And if you have a long service history with that particular piece of equipment, and, we could go in basically and say, listen, it's probably time to change this. You've changed out a couple of compressors. We noticed that your evaporator pan looks a little rusted, things like that. Having an educated client who can basically look at the equipment and basically understand what you're telling them, it definitely goes far with helping us really serve them better. Far as, service technicians who want to take this class from other companies, it gives them the ability to basically go from a, beginner's level introductory into the unit onto basically getting down into the service, getting into the maintenance, things like that when it comes to different pieces of equipment. But it's open to everyone. We love everyone to show up. The training that you're going to get in these classes are second to none.
So when you think about these classes and the material, do people need to come in with some kind of prior knowledge, or is this a situation where someone who doesn't know a lot but would like to know more can also attend and that sort of thing? But how in depth are you going to go with certain material?
Yeah, so basically you could come in with little to no knowledge. If you've ever seen one before, you can sign up for the class, okay? Without ever having to either sold one if you're a salesperson or worked on one if you're a service technician. So basically, most classes are designed to take someone from a beginning level, to even an advanced level. So for instance, particularly my class will start on the basic, hey, let's break down the model number, okay? Showing those individuals how to look at a model number and the serial number of the unit and decode it, okay? So from that standpoint, you're going to, okay, here's how to access different panels. Here's where different components are located in the unit. So that's basically the very beginning of getting a good understanding of the equipment and where things are located. And then from there, we progress on to basically things like sequence of operation. Okay. What happens when you hit the auto button? Okay. What's going to happen when you hit the stop button? All these units have a certain sequence of operation and a time frame in which things should happen. So then going from there, learning the sequence of what's supposed to happen, then we travel through the different functions. Okay. There's a lot of different functions. There's a heating, there's a cooling, dehumidification, humidification, energy recovery, exhaust sequence. We break down each one of those sequences, how they work, what they're supposed to do. And then once we get past that part, then we get more into the servicing side of it. We talk about things that are currently that we've seen a lot in the field as service technicians that we're seeing fail, or things that maybe you should take a look at and pay close attention to with your unit. And then we can travel from that right into things like maintenance. Okay, what should you be doing at different times of the year to keep your piece of equipment operating at tip-top shape? And then from there, we can move on to things like diagnostics and alarms and trouble spots. You see, breaking down each section. Okay, if you have this particular alarm, this is what it means, and these are the components you should look at to fix the unit. So again, it's a wide range. So you can go from the beginning, and then you can move on to like intermediate, advanced level within the same day.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really like that. And I appreciate the emphasis placed on educating clients and making sure that they understand, the different aspects of systems and all the different things that you do. And these are, Boland engineers, right? And so these are the people that are out in the field doing these sorts of things every day and really experts in these products. And so, it's you're getting training and you're getting knowledge and expertise from the sorts of people that do this every day and have more knowledge than anybody else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's great about that, because usually the people who are teaching the classes, the instructors, are what Boland calls the SEP men for that product line, which means they are the go-to person for that product line. They're the person that's generally getting the most training every time something new comes out or any kind of service updates. That particular set person is the first one to get their hands on that information. Also, the setman also has continued education themselves, because every year there's warranty conferences that's put on by Train in different Train offices. So they fly us out to different places, and we get additional training on that equipment. And also at those conferences, they let us know what's new going to be coming out, what's going to be changing, so that when we come back to our office, we can share that information with all the other technicians. And of course, that allows us to share that information in our training classes with customers who take the class. So you are getting the person who is at the top of that product line doing the training. And we don't really sub anyone out. Okay, you're not going to get the guy who's worked on these 10 times and that's it. Okay, most of these guys, myself, I've been here for 20 years. Most of these guys who are teaching these classes have a long tenure as well with Boland.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And I was thinking about this earlier. When I take my car to the shop, most of the time the mechanics aren't invested or interested in making sure that I understand what's wrong with it or why something needs to get replaced, which leaves me feeling in the dark about things and unsure about, any kind of expense or anything like that. Because I haven't been trained. I have no expertise in anything to do with cars, right? But when I think about what you're doing from an HVAC perspective, I think having this level of training is really important and beneficial for clients to know when something does fail, you're able to talk them through it in an intelligent manner. You're able to educate them on preventative maintenance and things like that really help them understand why costs are incurred sometimes, why, replacement is necessary, why maintenance is necessary, and these sorts of things, which I think overall just having a more educated client base makes for a better, more harmonious relationship.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I visited a job site probably a week ago and ran into a gentleman that was having an issue with the unit. And he had mentioned to me that he had been at this particular site for 28 years. Okay. And he's been the one doing the servicing and the maintenance on these particular units. And he was having an issue that he needed factory help on. And I was there with him and explaining some things to him, just basically how to navigate the panel and things that I thought he knew because he had told me he had been there for so long. but he was really blown away
Mhm.
by the things I was showing him. And he had been working on this unit for over 20 years. Not that particular unit, because he got changed out before. But he had been working on those types of units for over 20 years and had no idea of the things that I was showing him. So that and
Right.
that I took as an opportunity to mention to him and suggest to him that, hey, we have these classes that are offered that you should probably take advantage of. And in these classes, I would go over everything that I'm going over with you right now. So it really doesn't matter, for those folks who may have had these units on their buildings for 10, 15 years, or if you're, 50, 60 years old and you've been in the trade for a while, there's still something that you can learn from taking these classes. So I would strongly suggest that even if you've been working on them for a while, there's probably still something that you could gain by taking these classes that's probably going to make your job a lot easier when you're out there trying to troubleshoot or do maintenance with these units.
Well, Del, anything else that you want people to hear from you on this particular topic, whether it's telling them why they should sign up and the benefits for them, or any final thoughts you'd like to leave our listeners with here today?
Yeah, I would strongly suggest everyone who's in the industry who works on train equipment, I would strongly suggest that they sign up for these training classes. The classes are generally 8 hours a day. We provide breakfast and lunch. You're also going to receive all the manuals. I believe we're even now doing PDF form on the manuals, but I think we're still doing hard books for the manuals. You're going to receive all that. You're going to receive all the latest updates that come down from the factory, any changes. You want to stay up on the new equipment that's coming out that you haven't seen yet. This is a good chance to jump in this class, and you're going to get all that information. So I would strongly suggest anyone's in the industry, sign up for these classes. You will not be disappointed.
Excellent stuff. Del Johnson, service engineer at Boland. Del, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit more about Boland's professional development classes and everything that they can provide. This was a great conversation. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And everyone out there, thank you for tuning into another episode of 10 Minutes to a Better Building. We hope you enjoyed this bite-sized look at ways to make your building better. And again, make sure to go check out Boland's professional development classes. If you missed the fall sessions, make sure to look ahead, start planning now for the spring, so you can learn more about your system, about your building, and how to keep it in tip-top shape. So make sure to go do that. Boland.com is the website. As always, subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date with the latest. For my guest today, Del Johnson, I'm Tyler Kern. We'll talk to you next time.